Hello coders, welcome back to my video. So in this video, we'll see what is a Docker file, why it is used, what is the advantage of using a Docker file, and what are the commands that we use to create a Docker file. Okay. So the Docker file initially is a text file in which we run some command that will automate the process of creating a Docker. Okay. So like we see in the last videos, like we are manually giving the commands like Docker images, Docker PS and other things. Okay. But here what will I do is while creating a image, I will create a script and that script will run in various automation process. Okay. And the Docker file, why it is used? This is essential because it automates the process of building the Docker images. Okay. So instead of manually configuring the system, the text file will execute and our image will be, uh, you know, present. That is our custom image. Okay. And if you see in the diagram here, you have images here and you have a container here. So if you see here, images will go for a run and it become a container, and container we can start, stop and restart. And if we have to commit something in the container, we commit it and it will go directly into the image. So this is this stuff. Okay. So where the Docker file helps is, this is a Docker file. So when we execute this Docker file and build it, what it will do, it will create our custom image. Okay, so in spite of changing the container and committing our changes in the images, we will have a Docker file which will create our Docker image. And this image we can push or pull from the Docker itself. Okay, so this is the basic of a Docker file. So what all are the commands we use in a Docker file? So let's see that as well. So this is a Docker file commands. Okay, so first command here is from. From will set you a base image. For example, we have a Ubuntu 22.04 we mentioned here. So it will fetch the Ubuntu image from the Docker desktop or Docker cloud, and it will make that image in the local. Then after the second command is run, it will execute your command during the build. Okay, for example, if you see an example, we have run and we have apt get install -y Python. So when your image got flashed, it will be updated as well. Okay, so what do you mean by copy? So for example, if we want something to be copied to the Docker at the build time, we will use this copy command. For example, we have a app.py and we want to put it in a Docker at the location slash app. So we'll use a copy command here. Okay, so we have an add command as well. So what is the meaning of add command? It will copy the file from the URL. We can give him the URL of a tar file. It will download it and it will copy to a particular location in the Docker. Okay. So for example, if you see here, we have a file .tar.tz that is present in the current folder, and this I want in a Docker. So what it will do, it will put this file, untar it and put it in slash data of the Docker. So everything we mention here will go in directly onto the Docker, not on the present machine where we are running the Docker exe or something like that. Okay, Docker run or something. So we have a work directory as well. So this is what do we set the work directory? So work directory should be /app as we mentioned above. If you see here also, we are putting everything in this app. So here we will mention this shortcut for the work directory, and this work directory variable we can use in our other files to do the operations. Okay, and here we have a expose. What it will do, it will expose or open your 8080 port on to your Docker. Then the next is a command. So this is a simple command in which we are running this app.py. Okay, and it will give you the output, something like that. Okay, so here this command we can change it. Okay, for example, we are running a Docker and we some output from that Docker and printing on the native console or the host console. So for that we can do this, we can override as well. But here if you take entry point, it means this entry point is fixed, this you cannot override. Now we know just the basics of the commands, and we will now have a Docker file, and we will go through them each of the command and see what is the uses. Okay, so let's begin with that as well. So here is our demo, and here if you list the files, I have a Docker file here. I have an index file that will be a part of a nginx, and nginx is a web server, as you already know. And here are some configuration I'm putting onto this Docker to modify the operations. And here we have a start script. Okay, so we will see each of this file once we get into this Docker file. So let's open the Docker file and see what is there. So if you see from the start, you have a from. What do you mean by that? We will pull the nginx 1.29 version from the cloud itself. Okay, and here I'm putting a label like maintainer, version, and description. This is just a metadata. When you want to get the info of this Docker, these things will be printed there. It's just for the basic data that this is a modified custom Docker. Okay, so next we have the environment. So these are, we have the app name, we have the app port. This will be exposed when we run a container. Okay, when our app is running, these variables are being exported to that Docker for uses. For example, if you do echo on that Docker for app name, it will give you this data. So this will set as an environment variable in the Docker itself. Okay, next is a build time argument. So this is the argument we are giving at the time of build. Okay, so when we run the Docker build command, at that time this thing came into existence. So we'll put some data over there. Okay, then we have the work directory. So it will map the work directory at slash in the Docker. Okay, next we are using the copy commands, and what it will do, it will copy our index.html, which is there in the host system still, and it will copy in the Docker at the location user share nginx html. And also we will put this nginx conf at etc nginx.conf. Okay, so this is copy command, and if we want to use the add command as well, we can use it by using a add command, and with the tar file we have in the local or a current directory, and we'll put in the Docker in this location. So everything what we are doing here, we are copying some files in the Docker at a particular location. Okay, next is a run. So this run command will help to update our Docker or run some CLI commands. For example, here we have apt update, apt install. We are installing some tool on the Dockers, and then we have clean. So we are using multiple commands in one line itself. So we are using the AND operator. So everything will go cleanly. Then it will run to the next command. So here we are removing some files over the list, and then we will run this mkdir-p these things. So the main purpose of using the run is to run a command on the Docker, simply as that. Okay, the command like the terminal commands if you see. So also we have copy here. We are copying the start script and app script and start script. And also I'll run the command line and change the execution permission of that file start.sh. Okay. So next is this volume. So it will create a persistence memory that will be retained even when your container is being removed. Okay, it means your data will be persist over reboot. So this is to store the logs. Okay, next we have this expose 80. So what it will do, it will expose the port number 80 on the container. Okay, so the next is health check. Okay, so this is also very important to check the health of a container. So what you mean by that is it will check at the regular interval of 30 seconds with a timeout of 5 seconds if there is no response on this command. So it will continuously check this command, and if this is successful, it means it will put healthy status. When we do docker ps on the container, it will show you healthy there. Okay, so if there is a problem in this link after 30 second or something, so it will give you unhealthy and it will exist from here. So this is the main thing that we have for a container to run consistently. Okay, and next what we have an entry point, and here this is an entry point for this script. So when we have some default argument we are giving to nginx, okay, to run without being as daemon. So daemon here is off with hyphen g. Okay, so these are some parameters we are giving to this web server to run properly. Okay, so this is all about this script. So if we go back and see the other files, so if I used to see this index.html, so it is a simple web server file that is says the Docker tutorial and then welcome to Nginx Docker container and Docker command line. It is simple as that. So if we go to the next one, that is nginx.conf. So here is a generic configuration for Nginx, which will have a root at this Nginx HTML path, and you have to run this index.html here, and you are listening at 80 port. So 80 port we already you know make it available through the commands. Okay, and last is this start dot script. So this is simple script. What I'm doing here, I already mentioned the app name in the docker file, so it will be populated here. Okay, and it will show starting container, and here we have application name as this. So this is all about this. Now the next part is, let's build our custom docker. So how to build that? We'll do docker, then build command, then we have hyphen hyphen build argument. For that I will do build underscore time, or I can say date is equal to date. Okay, then hyphen t I have nginx demo colon v1 start. So this is the name of this demo, and this is a version for our custom. So if you see here, your things are running now. We have our Docker file that is being executed now, downloading the image, apply our changes from the Docker file, and make our Docker ready. Okay, so now it got completed as well. So let's check the logs as well to see what is happening. So if you see here, so first we have from which will fetch this nginx docker from the from the source, that is the cloud, and then it will check for the docker ignore. If there is any docker ignore, then it will check for that, and that now it will download everything from here. Then it will check for the work directory, copy the index file, nginx.conf file also been copied, and then it will go for run, make directory, and other commands which I have seen, which you have seen in the docker file. Okay, so if you have your custom docker file name, so like here we have docker file, so if you want to give any other name, you can do it in this build command by using hyphen f. For example, hyphen f, we have docker type. So this way you can take uh, this docker file name change here with a hyphen f command. Okay, so this is just for understanding, and now I will go directly to docker images and check our image, that is nginx demo. So the image is created now. Now we have our custom image there. Now it's of a size 210 and the image id is there. And now if we see docker ps-a, So in here, I don't have that Docker. So this is for hello world, but our Docker is not running. So in order to run our custom image as a Docker, what we'll do, we'll have a Docker command. So Docker run -d that we have hyphen name. I will give the name of our Docker, that is nginx demo. Okay. Then we'll give the port name 8080 colon 80. Okay. And now I will give the verbose. Okay, that is nginx logs. And I will give the location of that logs as well. So colon hyphen var hyphen log hyphen nginx. Okay. And now what I will do, I will do nginx demo hyphen colon va1. So once I run this command, our Docker image will come into a container format. So let's run it. So if you see here, you get an ID, container ID, and now you have Docker PS. So you will see here, your container ID is this, and you have this image of which this container is created. You have a command. You are running a start script that you mentioned in the Docker file as well. Okay. So now if you see here, you have a health status as well. So it's showing starting something like this. And now you have a IP and port that is linked to TCP, and you have the container name like this. Okay. So this is how you got a container running. Now, if you want to get into the container, you need a container ID. So you will take this container ID and then we do Docker exec hyphen it. Then we have a Docker ID and then we have a bash. So once I do this, I will be there in the Docker. So if you see here, you will get this script. Okay, so you have the start script here. So whatever we have in our host system, that is copied here, and it got run as well. Okay. So next we will see the user share. We have nginx here, and we'll see whether our files are copied or not. So if you see here, you get the index.html, and you got this index file which is there in our host system is copied there. And also, uh, if we want to check our Docker container, our nginx, so what we'll do, we'll do 127.8080 port. Once we run it, you will see the same index.html being printed here. So it means our Docker is running perfectly with nginx web server. So this is all about this video. Let's see in the next video. Thanks.